In the beginning, the world was young, teeming with life and possibility. But as generations passed, a shadow fell over the heart of humanity. The world grew loud with violence, and the air thick with greed. Every thought, every intention, had turned away from goodness, spiraling into a darkness that grieved the very heart of its creator. It was a world drowning long before the first drop of rain fell, but amidst the noise and the chaos, one man walked a different path. His name was Noah. He was a righteous man, a farmer who found peace in the soil and faith in the silence. He lived apart from the world's corruption, his heart still tuned to the frequency of heaven. And in a world that had forgotten its maker, Noah remembered. It was to this man that God spoke, not with a voice of thunder, but in the quiet of his heart. A mandate was given, a terrifying, world-altering command. An unstoppable flood was coming to cleanse the earth of its wickedness. But for Noah, his family, and for the future of all life, a way of escape would be provided. He was to build an ark. The instructions were specific, a divine blueprint for survival. The ark was to be a vessel of immense proportions, built of gopher wood and sealed with pitch. For decades, Noah and his sons labored. They felled ancient trees, their axes echoing in a world that refused to listen. They were a spectacle of faith, mocked and ridiculed by their neighbors, who saw only a foolish old man building a boat on dry land. When the great vessel was complete, the second part of the miracle began. From the forests, the mountains, and the plains, they came, not in a panicked stampede, but in an orderly, silent procession. 2 by 2, a living river of fur, feathers, and scales flowed towards the ark, guided by an unseen hand. Lions walked beside lambs, wolves beside sheep, their wild nature subdued by a divine peace. After Noah, his family, and the last of the creatures had entered the sanctuary, a profound and final act took place. The great door of the ark, too heavy for any man to move, began to close. It was not pushed by a human hand, but sealed shut by the will of God himself. For 7 days, the world held its breath, suspended between judgment and grace. Then it began, a single drop of rain, then another. The sky tore open, and the fountains of the great deep erupted from the earth's crust. It was not a storm, it was the uncreation of the world. Water rushed through the valleys, swallowing towns, then cities, then mountains, until all that remained was a churning, endless ocean under a weeping sky. For 40 days and 40 nights, the downpour was relentless. Inside the ark, a world of life floated in darkness, a tiny bubble of hope on a planet of death. They were rocked by the storm, but they were safe, held secure in the promise of their Creator. After many months, the waters began to recede. The ark came to rest gently upon the peak of a mountain. Hope returned in the form of a dove, carrying a freshly plucked olive leaf, a sign that life had returned to the earth. The great door was opened, and Noah and his family stepped out into a world washed clean, silent and new. As Noah built an altar to give thanks for their salvation, God set a seal upon his new covenant, a promise that he would never again destroy the world with a flood. He hung his war bow in the sky, not as a threat, but as a sign of peace.